Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 324, and today we're doing battle in another Runeterra Open Singleton edition. And so, it's a little late on the video to come out. The Singleton format is gone. The formats are about to rotate and everything, and so I just kind of wanted to come out and have a little bit of fun with this one. And so we've got a really strong and interesting crew coming together to pull up the deck list. We are going to be playing Jax Bard Freljord, and so I know it doesn't really scream tons of synergies coming out, but I feel like we're going to get some pretty big units on the board. Might get some highlight reel style plays rolling through this crew. And so the idea with the deck is it's mainly just a forge deck, and so we're using a lot of the forge mechanic between Jax and Ornn and the various Freljord cards. We also have a handful of ways to grow our units with things like the Spirits Unleashed and then Revna down here in the unit space. And so we're looking to just develop these units full of big boards between the equipment and the forges and the bonus stat style of cards. And so I think, though, one of the interesting things about the Singleton format is a lot of it is really dependent on value. You don't see a lot of really aggressive decks. You don't see a lot of OTK style strategies. It tends to just be kind of a grind fest like we used to see back in Expedition, to where a lot of the games come down to who has like the last card or the last two cards in their hand. And so you see a lot of value come out and a lot of importance placed on being able to generate cards. And so I'm hoping to kind of play into that at least a little bit with this deck list, with the equipment sticking around. If you're giving a unit +2/+2 off of your equipment, and then you get to give something +2/+2 again, and then you forge that equipment, the kind of growing power of those forges is where we're looking to generate our value today, as opposed to playing something like a Bandle City card that just manifests, or Reggie or Pokestick or whatnot. And so the last couple of things I do want to call out that are within this deck, we are playing the Howling Abyss, so maybe we'll get some cool level 2 champions out of this today, and then our big game ender is going to be Feel the Rush. And so we do have some minor overwhelm themes running through this. Feel the Rush plays into that, cards like Battle Fury play into that, and the big stat growth plays into that as well. Can't wait to see how much stat growth we get out of this Bard. Bard works by having more copies of him in your deck, and so only having one copy of Bard, not the greatest combo in the world, but it's going to be what we are making usage of today. So let's enter the gauntlet, jump on in, see what we can do. We're on that second account today. So on our previous account, we got the 100 trophies. We were already capped anyways here at the 250 trophies. But it's nice to come in and still get that good run in and get that big collection of trophies coming at us. Like I'm not entirely certain how I feel about it. I see the next track is supposed to be upgraded to I think they said 550 trophies because the season is going to be longer. And like I know that I'm at like 250 capped. Would have been at 350 with the additional 100 from this event. Probably pretty close to 400. Which is some of the other events that we played in. And so I'm not entirely certain how challenging that is going to be, although a lot of it is kind of tied into our Runeterra Opens and getting a lot of points that way. And I suspect the Opens are going to be much more challenging events in the future if they fix the matchmaking. So we'll see how that plays out. Not that the matchmaking is broken. I believe the idea with the matchmaking now is that it's you're not necessarily playing versus someone with the same record. And so you can be 7-0 and then get paired against someone that's like 0-2 and not as close to an opponent as you would be looking for there. But opponent has been found. Looks like he's got some kind of Seraphine deck. Not surprised to see those running around. We didn't have any starting units in our hand, so we took a full mulligan to look for some other stuff. Now with this, it's kind of unfortunate. Like if we were just playing constructed, I wouldn't add Jax to the board here. It's just too easy for him to get popped by a Mystic Shot. But as we're playing in the format to where you only have one copy of a card, I'm a little bit more okay with it here. Of course, the opponent has Mystic Shot. That's what you see the dirty Seraphine players pull off with too much frequency. But I think we're still okay to pressure on. If this Ancient Yeti gets to hit the board next turn, it should be pretty tough for opponent to deal with. The thing we talked about in terms of the Seraphine decks is they don't really do well against big units, right? A lot of their removal is things like Mystic Shot or Aftershock and High Mark, whatever the Seraphine removal is called, and so they don't do really well against just dropping big Ancient Yetis. All right. Well, I think it's your time to shine here, Yeti. I'd like to get the Ruthless Raider down with the Bone Club, just so that it has a little bit more health here. I think you should have, a reasonable amount of trouble with the Yeti, but it doesn't need to get any bigger. So if we get to Bone Club the Ruthless Raider, it'll be in a space to, again, kind of neuter our opponent's removal spells. All right, yet again. Could have looked to put the Light of Acacia on it. Our mana doesn't work out if we're going to take that path, though, right? So here, he copies our Ancient Yeti. I don't think he understands how the interaction works to where the Yeti is going to cost 7 mana. So it's going to be a little bit of time before his big boy gets to come down. He's going to be 2 turns away, I believe. He'll cost 6 on this turn, but he only has 5 mana. And then 2 turns from now, we should have access to it. Okay. We'll come out and block. There is some argument to not make a block here. The thing that you'll run into with this is he probably isn't going to be able to kill us with damage. These games tend to just come down to whether or not the opponent's able to get their Seraphine on the board. And I would rather this combat be going the other way, right? If we're going to be losing out on our Ancient Yeti, we would prefer that it is at least getting that couple of points of combat damage in. I think we probably jumped the gun here and should have just taken that hit. Seems like he most certainly has a removal spell for our Yeti here. Is that off of Reggie? Yeah. All right, we'll get the big boy on board, though. Say what up, Ruthless Raider. He's ready for a nice combat. Ooh, Revna. That's pretty tempting. Just to boost all of our units for the rest of the game. I think I'm on board. Like he does have the Yeti mana now, and so let's at least try and build up a little bit to his Yeti coming on board. Like ideally, since it has so many stats, we'll just be hooking it out of combat with the Entrancing Lure, or I mean, I guess we could use the Cosmic Binding as well to just stun it in combat if it's in front of a big blocker. Lots of options. And we got the Icevale Cultist. Not bad, not bad. This is one of the cards I've wanted to make this work in Constructed, and it's been pretty close in the sense that it felt like the Overwhelm deck with the Cultists and the equipment was just like one card away from being good. And we'll see if we can't get a little action out of it today. I mean, dropping the Piltover Castaway, then loading up the Cultist with the Light of Acacia gives it Overwhelm as well. Lots of really powerful choices there. All right, all is going well though. I mean, if we're gonna be real, we should probably just be bone clubbing this Ornn, right? He's gonna be all leveled up and spicy here. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Good. Yes. I made this hammer. It was so good I named it Hammer.
Give him Overwhelm though, if we want to. I'm still eyeballing this Icevale Cultist coming on the board. We can drop the Cultist, drop the Light of Acacia on it. Ornn will get Overwhelm on his own. Lots of really powerful stuff we can do there. Bring in. I don't think that does what you want either, my friend. I guess he could just be attacking with Victor, but I think he's expecting our Ornn to be stunned next turn. Maybe not. Well, all right then. Lost out on the old back alley bar. I don't think he's got time for those shenanigans. I'd love to see the opponent play back alley bar next turn, but I think we're reasonably set. Again, this turn kind of comes down to whether or not we want to get this Light of Acathia on board. It's probably not worthwhile. Let's be real. We're going to attack with this 12-12 Ram, and with opponent at 12, we can stun whatever blocks it and be in a pretty safe space. Sejuani turning up. Lots of sweet bros in the hand. We go. We got that 14 attack Ram after the forges. Sounds good. So what you got for us? No guarantees we get to kill this turn, right? If he has something like Hush or has a stun, he can most certainly deal with the Spirit of the Ram, but ideally, he's going to have to like invest a lot of cards in not dying here, try to do a lot of stuff to the Ram, and then at the end of the day, we at least get the kill onto Victor. And so I think this is all going to go reasonably well from here. I don't think formula is the answer. He there. Takes him up to 7. Oh, okay, 19 coming into 17. I'm not entirely certain how those mathematics worked out there. I thought it had his damage taken less than his total health, but really not the case. Aito, GG. Market a W, team bust. Oh, Ornn and friends taking down victories. Feels good. Feels good, man. So I'm curious how the competition looks on the day 2 of one of these events. We of course got like right at the start, we're pretty much when we started with this. I feel like over the course of the what did we play, like 9 or 10 games, there was a pretty reasonable spread between people that were in like 100 plus LP Masters, 0 LP Masters, and then not in the Masters rank at all. It's tough to entirely tell, but it's as best as you can see using the tracking app. But now that I would really suspect like the competitive scene to get it out of the way on the first day. I'm curious if on the second day of this kind of event you see more of a casual crowd. All right, though. Up against the dragons, the singular Shyvana. See, I just need one champion today. That's all you really ever need, I think. I dig it. I've considered some stuff like this. I was looking to maybe play dragons today. Of course, didn't pull the trigger on it, but I think there's some real interesting options out there in terms of using Aurelion Soul, which is very castable in this format, Eclipse Dragon, and then the card draw card, whatever it is, the draw 2 dragons or overwhelm your dragons, and then just playing a very limited set is pretty interesting, but we didn't go for it. All right, I'm a little worried here. We don't have any answer to the Herald of the Dragons. We don't have a ton of interactivity in our deck, and so very easy for him to just play like a 4/4 in this space and cause us some trouble. But you know, we're getting pretty good value out of this Darkened Spear. That's what I was kind of hoping to see with this deck, as to where we're really kind of popping off with this equipment, and then as our apprentice dies, we'll still have this +2/+2 Darkened Spear to deliver onto someone else. Not bad. Dragons out here doing their thing. A little scary. A little scary. I'll give him that. We just have a handful of dudes and no interactivity.
Let me focus.
Alright, let's go ahead and drop a little damage on Shyvana. I suspect our apprentice is just going to get killed here. Oh, riposte is the worst. I thought that this was just going to be like another strike or a combat trick or something. I figured at the end of the day we were just going to have some damage left on Shyvana. That was wrong. And so let's see if we can't make some units big enough to deal with her. The upcycled Rake is the interesting one here, but it just doesn't make our unit big enough. I'm gonna go for the additional stats off of the fearsome equipment. Maybe we can get in front of Shyvana. Eltist, he's strong. He's a little bit off curve for me though. Let's see what the Shepherd brings in. There's a good place for the upcycled Rake. We don't really need to be picking up the overwhelm equipment now that we've got access to Iceveil Cultist. So we'll leave that one at home. Now the Darkened Spear onto the Shepherd is big enough to take down the Shyvana. Let's see what kind of mana he spends here, though. We're getting into this space to where it gets better to just not attack into her, given that we can just get this big board full of overwhelm dudes and then just try and overwhelm the opponent down. So with him only having 1 mana, I feel pretty reasonable with this attack. If he has Ranger's Resolve, it kind of sucks, right? If he can Ranger's Resolve Shyvana in front of the Combat Cook, but without it, we're going to get a pretty good attack onto the board. Okay. Ooh, the Howling Abyss. Might be time. Might be time. Let's see what he adds. We can be defensive here. Like I just see the my eyes light up as something like this turns up on a board to where we're not particularly far behind.
No matter what it takes.
And I just wonder if we can't get it going. All right, let's pass. See what he does. He's definitely attacking with Shyvana, right?
Break them.
So we'll have to start throwing blocks in front of her. We'll put the Favored Artisan in front, but it's Howling Abyss. It's gonna pay off, right? Oh noes. Single combat. She'll survive by 1 health. Not bad. Not bad.
Now I take to the sky.
Stories untold.
All right, here comes the answer. What you got for us, Howling Abyss? Something good. Caitlyn, you're not exactly it. Not exactly it. You're not terrible here, don't get me wrong, but we're not going to have a ton of flashbang traps running around. Was a pretty big draw with the Unforgiven Cold, though. I'm pretty happy to see that one turn up. I'm looking to probably just not attack this turn. Let's see. I'm going to add Bird and see if he continues to play stuff. Like, getting a upcycled Rake onto Caitlyn and attacking twice here isn't terrible. She seems reasonably safe. Okay, he's out of mana now.
Let's investigate.
He technically doesn't have to block Caitlyn, right? She's not going to be getting lethals this turn, but I think she's going to clear out some of the board. We should be in a pretty decent space here, I think.
One step ahead.
Put that Shyvana in front if you want. Nope. Say no thank you for that one. And Fizz. Can we just kill with Fizz? Ah, he's close. He's close. Oh, and he just got more stats? I was going to say, if you get Fizz being elusive with one of these equipment on him, he's going to be able to do the work. So, interesting round. We did just pick up the Sejuani. We can flash freeze the Shyvana. But then we can't cast our Unforgiven Cold. I think I'm okay with this.
Pain is
Like his attacks are so bad at this point. I think this is okay. And then we can still look to get Fizz and an equipment down. Okay, I definitely feel good with him only being at 1 mana.
Is that?
Tiari?
I am the traveler.
This is a pretty big round with Shyvana as well. If we want to look at this next turn, like Shyvana's at 4 ticks, so if we open with Caitlyn and he doesn't block, and we get the Shyvana flip, then she can do some nastiness in combat the next turn. I don't think it's going to come down to that, but we got some opportunities there. But the question is just, do we open with the Unforgiven Cold next turn? That's our only... it's our only spell. But you got something big? Elise? You don't have any other spiders. That's unfortunate.
Scoping the area.
Alright, we'll give him a chance to do stuff. We'll just send in the Caitlyn first. Oh, we activated a trap, so she's going to be dealing that damage. I was like, why is she doing a point? Where's this even coming from? Oof. Oof. Look at that. That is not how I expected the Sejuani flip to come through, but I'll take it. I'll take it. It's a nice set of champions out here. Flipped Sejuani, flipped Fizz, flipped Caitlyn. It's pretty good. It's kind of lame. Doing so much awesome stuff. Something bad's bound to happen, right? Alright, well, we can still get in a pretty reasonable attack for the turn. Let's start with Esmuth. Our Sejuani doesn't go away, right? If we get in another attack, we can still frostbite his whole team. So if we get this Esmuth to the left, that's pretty good. Now we can use the Ice Veil Cultist to give Caitlyn overwhelm. Hopefully that gets her close enough. Once we get the Darkened Spear in here, that should get everybody close enough.
One step ahead.
There it is. There it is, Ice Veil Cultist. Look at that. What a monstrous dude. Coming in as a 9/11, giving everybody overwhelm. It's not bad. Not a bad day at the office.
Reconsider.
You gotta get that Mountain Sojourner out here.
Is this what you see?
Nope, you had it right. you need your 8/8 in front of our Ice Veil. And your 4/5 in front of our 6/5. Just switch them. You're so close.
Wait.
For what?
There you go.
Only the guilty dither.
All right.
The trap is set.
I think we're safe. Just got to get in that one more combat. And the Donger. Fortunately, not too many spells for the Donger, but it is what it is. If he attacks and we get to block with Caitlyn, the game just ends as well. I think we're good. We got the Unforgiven Cold, drawing the Cosmic Binding for the turn is good. I think we did it, fam. I think we did it.
Ends at the top. I thought my journey would end when I reached the summit.
Follow my lead.
Turning yourself in.
You are not alone.
Alright, 2 to an enemy. Sure, Shyvana. Stun another one. That'll hit Rummel.
Show them our teeth. I ain't afraid.
Kill his whole team. Get the kill while you're at it. Not bad. Good job, squad.
Now we wait.
Ooh. You know what I think won that game for us? It was probably all the Bard chimes. I think we had a couple pop off. Like I know that we had an Esmuth and we had a bird that kind of messed with the equation, but it feels like something along the way hit at least one Bard chime. And as these games progress, I mean, I think we were up to turn 10 on that one, maybe turn 11. Yeah, you get some opportunities from him. Not too many, but they're certainly there. All right. What's the next battle? Looks like Freljord Demacia along with a little bit of Noxus. Okay. I would think that this is a fairly Fiora heavy deck. We'll have to see what opponent's bringing out. Right, that's what you're typically seeing here. You've got the Frostbites for Fiora, then Fiora gets to win some combats that way. All right, so Weaponsmith's Apprentice, ready to start the forging. I think I want to just drop the Vortex here. Like our Weaponsmith shouldn't be at real risk, and I just don't want to get stats put on this Hookmaster. It's just really filler, and getting this Castaway on the board is just going to be a much meatier unit. Many strengths coming out of him. I went with the combat reel instead of the quick attack, because I kind of feel like if we're attacking and getting trades and still just building up our mana, going to let us get to this Feel the Rush, and that's ultimately what we're going to be trying to pull off here, is just stall the board until we get Feel the Rush down. Right, we'll take the quick attack now. Again, we have the Overwhelm equipment in the mix, but we've also got the Cultist in hand, so we can pick up Overwhelm later. Bloodsworn Pledge. Okay. Where'd that land? Hits on the Wandering Shepherd. This is one of these combats where it's like I'm curious if we're ever going to try and share these on something. So we'll leave the share these mana up. I don't think it's gonna be happening anytime soon, but not quite what we need. And I'm gonna put the big stats onto Esmuth. Scout isn't that spectacular at the moment, so we'll let it sit in the back. Not a bad set of dudes, though. He does have this monstrous Arachnoid Sentry, and he's going to be getting little Frostbites out of the Shaman, but I think we're building up here nicely. Ally with an attachment. Move it down here. Getting the Shaman off of the board should be fairly valuable. Not the big Bone Club shares these that everyone wants to see, but not a bad turn at the end of the day. And then I'll go ahead and drop the combat reel back down so our Wandering Shepherd can block this next round.
Save your worlds. We speak with blades.
Fiora. Nasty. Kind of nasty. Well, I don't want her to get this free hook onto Esmuth. The Esmuth's gonna die here, but taking the Fiora down to 1 health makes her much less of a threat. And then if he's got a flash freeze or something, it's at least costing him a spell here. Right, well, let's get more dudes down. We're 2 turns away from Feel the Rush. We'll have to keep that in mind. I don't think we're going to have enough mana anyways to spend it all before turn 9 gets here, but definitely I want to be keeping in the back of our heads that the Feel the Rush is our big upcoming play. Send in the squad though. We got a combat trick, right? So we can deal with the Leviathan if he puts forth a block. I would imagine he probably doesn't have a combat trick. If he's not playing combat tricks last turn, he probably doesn't have them this turn. But we'll see how it shapes up. Okay. Works for me. Again, we need to bank 2 mana out of this turn. Equipped allies? Okay, this I was like, how is this Jax not flipped yet? It took a while for his animation to update. Like you should have literal thousands of damage onto you, and he's got 32. 32 is not a bad number. But I was a little worried as he came up. I had to stop and double check that he doesn't have to see the damage. Where's this Swain at? Swain is nowhere near flipping. So I think we're okay. Rolling into the next turn is gonna be good for us. Take heart. Okay. That just happened. Reasonable enough assessment for the turn. I'm glad if we don't have to worry about Fiora, I just feel a lot better in general. Let's get some 10-10s on the board. It's gonna be Bard, right? It's gonna be Bard. But the Feel the Rush does count towards Bard, though, so if you hit, he's gonna see all of those stats and then use that to flip. Sucks we hit Jax. Jax was already in our hand. We would prefer to hit champions that aren't in our hand, but... What else we got? Udyr. Aight. Kind of lame. I'll give you that. Send in the Udyr. Getting a block, not bad. He's dodged most of the problem cards. I'm still just gonna put the regenerate stance onto him. If we get got by a Nox and Guillotine here, fine. You know, you did it. But if he gets to survive into the next turn with the heal, he's going to be ready to be a combat monster as well. What's Swain at? Do you have to worry about these stuns? He's only at 6. That's not very scary. I think we're good at this point. We can play Ornn, have Ornn copy the Light of Acathia, so he's going to have Overwhelm. The Ram's going to have Overwhelm next turn. I think we're in a good space to end this. Opponent does drop Captain Farron, and what a disappointment of a Captain Farron coming down as a 9/9 and just being overshadowed by both Jax and Udyr. Say, I'm sorry, fam. I do love me a Decimate, but you're not being too impressive at the moment. Block. We even get a stance out of this block. I don't know if you wanna really be doing that. All right, we got the mana. You know, a wiser man might say, "Bust, don't spend all your mana right here. This Udyr's just gonna die." But we got to go for it, man. We're gonna get this whole team have an Overwhelm, and we go to the next turn. That's nice. That's nice. All right, let's blast him. What do we got? 45 Overwhelm coming through. That's not bad. That's not bad. we can get a little bit more surprise damage on the board as well, and so I think we should be good here. And there's a chance we don't get the lethal for the turn. You can have a stun or something to slow down a bit of our board, but this should be enough to just completely wipe out his board, and then he has to invest all of his mana into not dying and can't really refill. So if it's not the game ender, it should still be a pretty big dent into their game plan. Nice. Oof. Hope you all had a good Singleton adventure. Hope you got your time to get in there, get some battles on. It's been fun. It's been a fun format. It's not a format I want to play forever. Right? I'm glad that the latter format isn't Singleton, but to have it turn up on occasion is kind of interesting. And I'm curious if you know what I think would be kind of interesting is the gauntlet stuff is here. if you've ever gone to like a Grand Prix in Magic, this is what I always like find myself comparing these things to. Is I think the Grand Prix scene in Magic, and I think the online Grand Prix on Magic Arena, whatever it's called, we're all done pretty well, and it just strikes me as a space that could be pretty useful here. It's just like I talk a lot about that, striking that chord of there being like this upper echelon of people that can and can't qualify for Worlds and have the willingness to attempt it, and then you have this lower band of players as to where they are wanting to play something competitive, but you know that you're not really going to be a contender in terms of qualifying for an event like Worlds, and I feel like that's what you really get out of the rewards track that we've had pop up here. Is, you know, it's a nice casual introduction to the world of competitive play. I feel like the people that are kind of, you know, I don't want to say left out. That's not the correct term, but I feel like the people that are in that kind of space to where, you know, you make your way into Masters and then you don't feel like you have anything to do. I feel like that's where the Grand Prix scene really fit in with Magic. Is, you know, if you feel like you had a really good day, you might be able to make the second day, but were you really going to ever like top 8 that event and have something successful in that sense? No, probably not. And I think that where I'm kind of going with this is, if you think of the Runeterra Opens as a 2-day event, and we play the first day, don't make the second day, but we kind of, you know, had it in our schedule and in our plans that we were going to have to do something on the second day. That's where I think you could fit in a place like having a second Open, but have it be with the but have it be with kind of one of these other formats like Singleton, as to where you have that second day of competitive opportunity, but it's clearly not the main event. It was usually like a PTQ in the space of the Grand Prix, but you know, can't complain. There's been quite a massive shift towards the scene of competitive, and we're just at the very tip of the iceberg, and so not trying to complain. All right, back to the action in this game, though. I was a little bit worried about our Jax falling to the likes of some of these birds. I'm not sure about that Ranger's resolve, but with his last bird going down and then us having the Forge, Jax fairly safe to get onto the board in this space, and now, you know, Bard can try and do his thing. He's got he's got the attacks coming in, getting those extra chimes into our deck. Something everyone can approve of and enjoy. Most certainly going to play the Spirits Unleashed this turn. We don't have to, right? We can bank up the mana and just move into the next round. We might find ourselves wanting to fish fight and then replay the equipment, but very good chance the Spirits Unleashed is all we're going to be playing here. The Scar Maiden Reaver seals the deal with that one. Nobody's big enough to get into combat. I'm not amped about the idea of spending like 3 cards to take this Reaver down. We have plenty of time to just stall. If we get up to 9 mana, we can drop the Field of Rush on the board, and so we just need to not die for a little bit. What do you got, Piltover Castaway? What's your base? He's at 3 attack on the base. You can't see him behind. Oh, he is at 4. Okay. So he's big enough to do battle with a Scar Maiden Reaver. Let's just send everybody. I'm fine with the fish fight taking it down. If we end up losing Jax here, he's not mission critical. We could look to share the thing over. Hang on. Give an ally with an attachment the stats and keywords of its attachment, then move. Okay, so I was like, I thought the Light of Acacia might stick, or the quick attack might stick. It's not the case. Okay. We can't shift the equipment and then also fish fight. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually.
I wasn't strong enough.
We've got Dude on the board. Let's give him a re-equip. Next turn, we can look to add in Ornn. As we get to turn 8, we're gonna wanna watch our mana though. Look for a bank with the Field of Rush. But as it stands right now, this is okay.
Today's the day I find that hero.
Look at how meaty you are, Ornn. Such meaty, such size. You ready to block, my dude? You look ready to block. Ornn has been a monster today. I don't have much respect for Ornn. He's one of the champions that I usually talk a lot of trash about. But as we've been in this format, he's been cruising. He's been bruising. Okay. There's that flip.
This is what good looks like.
Get them Rams ready for next turn.
I'm attacking. Ready, set.
That strikes me as bold. Well, if he didn't have a trick on the previous combat to take down the Ornn, I assume he's not going to have one here. Kind of feels like an oops, I give up attack. But we're primed and ready to go. Send our friends right in. What would ever like warrant that kind of attack? Like there's the For the Remembrance, whatever that thing is called, the elites thing that watches all your units die. I guess that could be a thing. Doesn't strike me as enough. Oh, and the Battle Fury. I'm just gonna do it. Okay, this is by by no means the way that this should be done. But if you Battle Fury preemptively, you get all the stats on the Ram, and that's just way cooler, right? Now, if he plays a Harsh Winds or something, fine. That's why you don't want to do it preemptively, but that's how you get all the extra damages in. Yeah, I love Battle Fury. I hope Battle Fury doesn't get rotated out. That would be a tragedy. My main concerns with the rotation is that Riot's going to rotate out Legion Rearguard, which probably just have to quit the game at that point, or they're gonna rotate out something like Battle Fury, which I can live with. It's not that big of a deal, but you know, it's a card that I like to include in every Freljord deck just to have that one surprise copy for the big boom factor, and to have that taken away, it'll hurt right in my heart piece, man. You can rotate Tryndamere if you want, but leave Battle Fury behind. Okay, I feel like we played this dude earlier. The Freljord Fiora along with Noxus in it. Right, reasonable enough start. Got Bird and the Yeti ready on turn 4. Hit the Ornn's Forge, one we haven't dropped on board yet. This is a card, you know, I feel like it's just way too slow for Constructed. It just doesn't do enough, but it may have a space out here in Singleton. Just having this this building up effect turn after turn after turn is not that bad. We'll see how it turns out. It doesn't work great with our curve, right? If we're going to look to, say, play the Bird into Jax, into the Forge, into the Ancient Yeti, we just don't have any turns to where we actually get to use the Forge. But see, opponent's draw doesn't seem particularly strong here, so maybe we can get some punishes in. Sure. It should be a fleeting and free time and dedication, right? Right? You Ornn lovers out there are all in agreement. It's like, Bust, you got some good ideas today, my dude. Those time and dedication should be free. All right, let's get prepared for this next turn. I just opponent hasn't had anything this game. It's not seems to be a space where there's not a ton they can do about it. We'll see if he casts some spells on our dudes and whatnot, but typically when you have these games to where you don't add any dudes for the first 3 turns, you're just dead. And that's basically what's come together for the opponent here.
Vision to see what others cannot.
All right, well, let's make a 6-attack Jax. Load him up with the Challenger. He's now big enough to take down Swain on his own. If something goes wrong with this combat, Jax should still survive it. And I think that'll be the end of it here. Flash Freeze is A-OK. Right, a lot of the power that we're getting out of our Jax is just the Light of Acathia that's now getting all the forges on it. Pretty strong. Ooh, the Howling Abyss turns up. we got our 1 game of Howling Abyss in. I think we should probably just try and end this one.
Pain is nothing.
So how are we going to answer this Sejuani? Something's clearly going to come in and attack Jax. We have the 3 sisters in hand. I think as long as we get out of this turn with 1 mana, we'll feel pretty okay about it, because then we can Battle Fury next turn. So if we add the Castaway, that doesn't work. Okay. I'm just going to play the Time and Dedication and pass. We'll use our 4 mana on Flash Freezing whatever hooks Jax. And then we should be set to Battle Fury through next turn. Get that sweet, sweet Battle Fury bird for the kill. It's the play people dream of, right? All right, squad coming in. Don't make me regret my aggression here, bro. We had the chance for the Howling Abyss and said no, so don't make me regret it.
No survivors.
Spending all that mana? Okay. No regrets. YOLO, as the children said a decade ago. That place slapped. It was bussin'. Welcome to Battles with Bust, to where you get to hear boomers use the words the kids are saying these days. Alright, GG, my dude. On to the next one. Felt good. I was getting a little worried there. Adding the Howling Abyss to that board does get you in the spot to where you're just probably going to win. Just the overwhelming power of the champion after champion after champion is something that should be really good in this format. But we had a Battle Fury. That's the ultimate excuse for what you can do things for. You say, I had Battle Fury. All right, though. Up against Targon Noxus. This is the first deck on the day where I could see something a little bit aggressive coming out of it and making an argument to hold on to the Spirits Unleashed. I don't really like it, though. It's not our great game plan to go into the 3rd turn of the game and play Spirits Unleashed and then play a game from there. So I think we want to mulligan and see if we can at least find a unit. And we did. Much better board than we had before. So we're going to lead off with the Hookmaster. I'm not really impressed with this unit here, but I don't want our first unit of the game to be Jax and have him just get blown up, if we can avoid it. And we have the tools to avoid here. Right? Just exactly how this game went. Say we played Jax, we attack, we got that sweet attack in, good job. He plays the Glory Seeker, then gets the free hook next turn. Or he can just attack with it and give us the option, right? And I don't really want this Jax getting super involved in this space. Things are going well now, though. Go for the amulet. We could have taken the health thing and put the health in front of the Iron Ballista, but I think the damage isn't too much of a factor at this point. I like having that additional attack stats if they're going to be growing their units with Targon stuff. Getting a little bit more fearsome attack can be strong. Good. And a Battle Fury. Just what we needed. So this will finally be the time for our Jax. I'm a little hesitant with attacking here. I mean, we have Inner Beast, and with the Inner Beast, you do have to really stop and consider if you're going to be able to get something out of that 1 damage ping. And we might here. I mean, this is definitely a space to where we could kill something with the... We could kill one of these Trifarians with it, but... Not entirely certain that that's worth it. I think we're just going to have to accept that we're stuck missing out on some mana. You fought hard, Jax. You fought hard. Could just Battle Fury him, though, right? if he opens into Jax, we can just drop the Battle Fury. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? You like it. I know. I know all the viewers at home are saying, do it, Bust. Do it. He's going to get the strike in, and he's going to flip. Ooh, no dangers here. Oh, and he survives. Oh, snap, my friend. Oh, snap. He's ready to just end the game. Oof. Ooh, Jax. Lame. You tried though, dude. You tried. And since our Jax did flip, the Light of Acacia has overwhelmed now, so we can potentially get some usage out of that on a different unit. But what a bummer. What a bummer having things go that way.
We were born to rule.
All right, well, we've got the stats for the rest of the game now. It's a little worrisome throwing down... Oh, shit. Throwing down Revna in front of Swain, since he can't really block. This is, we might have gone a little too greedy on this one, fam. Well, let's prevent a little bit of damage. Might have gone a little greedy on this one. This is one of these spaces to where maybe we should have just taken the damage. Like, it's weird seeing Darius attack on the left, because he's not going to get his flip in this spot, but... Huh. Huh. So what do we got? Is this a place for Udyr? Like, if we say Udyr, then put the Light of Acacia down, then next turn play the Hearthblood Mender on him? I could see that being enough. I'd feel okay if we just have like one interactive spell. Like if we have a Harsh Winds, I feel like we can take this game down. Oh, he's just bringing down all the Healy cards. That's fine. Is Ornn big enough here? He is. He's going to be a quick attacker as well. This should be pretty good. I was leaning towards just playing the Hearthblood Mender, but we don't really need it at the moment. Now with Ornn, we're going to be repping lethal. He's going to attack up to 8/8 and forge off the ram. So everybody's just bigger than whatever opponent's presenting. I think this is good. What a greed fest from O'Bust. Stun onto Udyr. Interesting.
Somebody hold my beer.
All right.
You're all in trouble now.
Another path, another problem.
All right. Some of our dudes getting blocked. That's good. That's good. We just need time, right? I feel like our time is much stronger than his time. So if we can get some of these dudes off of the board. Oh, a block with Swain. Interesting. Not what I expected to see. Okay. Next round. I mean, I guess there's an argument to add a little bit more health to the board, but it seems like we might be doing it. So we can still block this turn. That's okay. I want to get the Mender down now. Just give us that little bit of health buffer. Oh, our Udyr and Ornn are going to be stunned, but if he's not attacking, then we're just so happy about all that. All right, fam. All right. Ooh, and the harsh winds for next turn. It's not that great here, but for next turn, that's going to be good. All of our attacks are looking pretty strong here as well. Let's get them in. What do we actually want for this turn? you gotta stop and assess that on occasion. We're going to want as many 8 attack units as we can get. And we don't have a lot of great ways to actually unlock that. We have the Bone Club, which is going to work. We can look to stance swap and equip onto the Hearthblood Mender. That will get it up to 8 as well. I think that's just going to have to be enough, but I think it's good. Oh, here's a big boy. Here's a big boy. Increase my power by the total power of all allies. That's a lot. You're getting harsh winded next turn. All right, here comes the squad. Team big enough to kill an infinite mind splitter. Coming on through. God, I wish we had a way to take down the Atacan. I think we're still okay, though. All right, Fam Jam, what do you think? Are we going to get out of this one? Are we going to get out of this one? He's going to open. Oh, it only boosts Atacan? It doesn't even boost all these other dum-dums? Okay. Okay. So let's harsh winds the overwhelms. We should only be taking a grand total of 0 damage here. Completely emptying out the opposing board. And ooh, fam. I think we've done it. I think we've done it. Combat Cook with the Pot of Pain, ready to attack. Let's go. Let's go. Fledgling Stellacorn coming down saying, I got this. I got this, fam. have no fear. Have no fear. My lifesteal is here to save the day. So what do we got? We got a... Let's see. Bard, Overwhelm. More Overwhelms. Pot of Pain for the point of damage. Gotcha. Alright, 53 coming in. See if that's enough. Woof. Did it. GG, my friends. GG. Okay. Next battle.
This is too much celebrating for my tastes.
This is too much celebrating for my tastes. Who is that? Was that Udyr? Was that? I think that's Ornn. That's probably an Ornn voice slang. Right, though. Victory via Bard. That's what that one came down to, right? Bard coming out doing his thing. It was probably those chimes. Probably the chimes. Let's see what we got now. Been a fun set of games. I had a good set of battles today. The enjoyment for me has been high. I didn't think we had that one in us. It's been tough, man. Like I feel a little bad for cards like Ornn. It's like when he was released, I feel like it was right in the middle of the Aatrox Kane era, to where that style of deck just didn't work. It's like you're trying to build up a bunch of stats, and your opponent just goes, "LOL, it's the World Ender." And so that just wasn't really a thing. And then Jax Ornn was kind of okay for like a week, and I never really played it because I can't get behind those decks that don't do anything except put stats on the board. And I feel like that's all Jax Orn was really doing. And I just wasn't really impressed in that sense, so we never played it. And so it's a tough world for a 7 cost champion. I think that's, you know, probably the main argument for looking to rotate is if you want to look at a card like Jax and Orn, or like Orn, if you're not specifically doing stuff with Forge, like when is it ever better than Sejuani? And then there's a lot of argument that it's just actually never better than Sejuani, and so so some of these cards are kind of deserving of getting their rotate. Just opens up a lot of design space for other potential cards. But as far as this game goes, if opponent didn't play the Battlecaster, I probably would have just passed. I want to get the Forge off the unit for next turn, and if we were going to have to risk ourselves losing out on that, I just wouldn't have taken it. But now it just seems okay. Pick up the combat reel. He's going to get a good hook off of this Trifarian Glory Seeker, but the rest of our board is still strong. We have this extra strong combat reel now. All of this feels like it's going to be a win. Interesting. Why aren't you hooking Esmuth? There you go. I think we'll just take the clear here. Let's get this stuff off the board. I feel like the longer this game drags on, the more advantage we'll be at. I feel like our late game strategy is just much more late gamey than what's coming out of this deck. It feels like his late game stuff, there was the Atacan, but it feels like the rest of his stuff is really just tied into the strength of his champions, and we have a lot of scaling strength with all of our equipment and forges and things like that. Scaling strength with our bards, right? So they load me up with the chimes. I don't got any more dudes in my hand, but we gotta draw one sometime. There you go, dude. You're doing the work.
Let the bloodshed begin.
Katarina. It's kind of tough. I'm just gonna go ahead and combat reel the Bard. It's like on this board, this is a really good Unforgiven Cold, but the Blade's Edge is just too much.
It's just a nick.
So we'll let the Katarina do her thing. That's not that big of a deal. If we keep in mind in the back of our head, we should be able to flash freeze her at some point. We can keep her recurring shenanigans away. It's just going to be a matter of, you know, if we don't let him build up a giant board, then the Katarina shouldn't be that scary. Combat Cook. Man, we got all the we got all the chimes going into the deck. Just no way to make use of them. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Every scar and memento I earned. Come and get it.
Sejuani. No chimes. No chimes. Now that we got the Sejuani around, though, we're ready for the chimes to hit. But not bad. Again, like if we're keeping him at 0 board, then the Katarina's pretty whatever. If he's getting to come down here and really elevate everything that he has, get a lot of width, get some good attacks in, that's where Katarina starts to be scary. And I think with these attacks, we're getting to dodge that. And so, no complaints. Ooh, Revna.
Never put it fair.
Let's just start playing some equipment. I don't think we need to get too invested in this turn, and then we're just gonna Three Sisters the Katarina away.
Plenty to go round.
So if this fails, it's not the end of the world. Ideally, it won't fail, but again, if he's having to make a lot of investment in protecting the Katarina, he's not getting that really wide board that ultimately scares us in these spaces. And so if he's got to play a Disintegrate and a Blade's Edge just to protect the Katarina, fine. You know, I'm okay.
This might hurt.
All right, got her. So now I'm going to look to just add in Revna. I feel like we just have an absolute ton of time here. And, you know, we're not getting any value out of the Sejuani just dropping her on the board. And it really feels like once we get this Revna down and everything in our deck gets +3/+3, it's just going to be too hard for opponent to recover out of this, right? We're playing 5/6s for 2 mana. I think that's enough to overwhelm and overcome here. Oh, man. It's just such a Spirits Unleashed. This Mahari's not gonna matter, right? Alright, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna add a big unit. It just I'm eyeballing. I don't know if you caught me like highlighting the Spirits Unleashed, just being able to drop the Spirits Unleashed to kill Mahari. That's pretty strong, but just it's in such a bad spot here. Not quite lethal, but like you can't block with it, right? You just never win the game if you use Mahari to prevent 5 damage. It has to be sticking around and building up into something. But not a bad day for us. The chimes are starting to pop off. We're getting all those extra stats from our Revna. Just need to keep our Battle Fury mana up for next round, right? No matter how bad things go, the Battle Fury's here is ready to pop off.
These mortals do not deserve to look upon you. Yet we must show them grace.
Alright, Kale, we'll shrink you up. Add the Omen Hawk. Be ready to go next turn. GG. So the safe play there would have been sticking to the harsh. That wasn't the harsh winds. It's the Unforgiven Cold. But got our champions on the board. We're going to be fully wide. we're about to pop off with the Battle Fury. I think it was okay. Ooh, it's not bad. Not bad. See what turns up next. I'm excited to see. The Q times Dragon On might be the same opponent again. But they're all quitting. They're all dropping out of the queues. They say, I'm not playing against Bust and his Jax Bard deck. Get that nonsense out of here. Alright, reasonable start. We'll send away the Howling Abyss. Hang on to our 2/2 drops along with the Darkened Spear. Reasonable start.
Kindle, did you wander off again?
Acorn turns up. See what we can't do about that. I'm leaning towards just dropping the Darkened Spear onto our Apprentice to pick up the stats. Neither of our other units are particularly, like combat scary. So at least adding the stats to the rest of our deck gives us a little bit more strength with this kind of slow board. Like I'm not amped about running our dudes into this Acorn that's just hanging out. So give it a shot. All right, and here I'm fine with this. We're not super invested in the Weaponsmith's Apprentice. I do like getting the stats on the rest of our units in our deck, and so I feel like that was a reasonable attack, even though we were just losing health going into his Shield Bearer. This Acorn's what worries me, though. This might be the one to where we see the big Augment card come down early because we don't have an answer to his elusives. So what do we got? We'll take the Pot of Pain. I was hoping to hit the... hoping to hit... That was basically like the worst two we could see. I was hoping to hit Combat Reel, but The picking up Shepherd's Authority here doesn't really do anything. I'm getting worried, fam. We don't answer these elusives. This is a problem. And a Castaway. Well, you're the biggest option we have. What do we got here? Quit giving me Shepherd's Authority. Nobody wants that. Fetch isn't happening, my dude. Fetch isn't happening. Oh, I kept looking at these cards. I was getting confused. Like, if you look at the Weaponsmith's Apprentice, it has +1/+1 from Weaponsmith's Apprentice. That was the forge that we put on it with the Darkened Spear. But then if we look at the Piltover and Castaway, he also has +1/+1 from the Weaponsmith's Apprentice, but that was from the attack. I guess you can see on the one on the left here, this Weaponsmith's Apprentice has the little hammer next to it, which I assume means it was from the forge. That's fine.
Right, to work.
Let's bring the squad. We'll get something happening out of this sharesies. Oh, we don't even have to. Awesome. Works for me. Works for me. Now, he doesn't have any really strong dudes on the board. That's okay. Down to 3 cards, which is kind of nice. But again, we're worried about what this Acorn is hitting. Ideally, yep, it's hitting nothing. that would be the premier thing for us if this Acorn is just weakening up Mystic shots and Aftershocks and the like. It's not a real problem unless it's shrinking up big game enders like the final augment spell, whatever that thing is called.
First light illuminates the land. Sunlight blinds.
Alright, so it's a little unfortunate. I wasn't wanting to put the Yeti onto board, but we need something to slow down the Leona. If he wants to Leona into the Hookmaster, that's okay. Oh, is he going to Leona our Yeti? No way he hits the Yeti, right? We win that combat so hard. What? Pick an ally with an attachment, move the attachment. Okay, I'll take it. Nah. Oh, we still bang through that. Okay. He's eyeballing that spell in hand. That's a little bit of a worry. Okay, it wasn't enough. Good deal. Good deal. Good job, Yeti. You are truly the friendliest Yeti. Now with 3 sisters. Okay. So we're on turn 7 now, right? And we got the Feel the Rush in hand. We're gonna need to start thinking about that mana bank. And I feel like if all we do on the next turn is play 3 sisters, we're probably okay at that point. Do we care about this, though? We can protect our Yeti with the 3 sisters. Can't play any more cards if we do that. But, I mean, if we're going to be real, the rest of our hand isn't very good. Let's take it. I don't think he's going to be able to lethal us next turn, even if he brings in some kind of ridiculous big spell. I think we should probably survive this. He picks up the Tellstones, so I guess he's going to be aftershocking our Yeti. That's completely fine. Get that nonsense out of here. Again, he's got 2 cards in hand. The card that would have scared me off of that Tellstones would have been Progress Day, right? Since he's only got 2 cards in hand, I don't think we have to worry a ton about it. And shit, I miscalculated our turns ending. I thought we were gonna have Feel the Rush mana next turn. We're not. We're not, but this is still okay. We can get our big unit on the board. Not too worried about Kale at this point. We'll just throw a unit in front of her to get this out of the way. And then next turn we'll see what Tryndamere and Team Overwhelm can't do to the board. So we do have to give up on Feel the Rush if we're going to do that, but I think it's okay.
My blade grows restless.
My blade grows restless. And a ballistic bot, sure. And so we're just stuck with these two, right? Attacking with the Tusk Speaker, well, maybe that is okay. Like, I think at the end of the day, if we get like some of these units off of the board, then we're going to be in pretty good shape, right? I like seeing the Acorn go away. Like, he can get the free block of Kale onto the Tusk Speaker and stop a lot of its damage, but the Acorn is the unit I'm actually hoping to get off of the board here, so that elusive power is just gone. So we do have to worry about Kale coming in with a gigantic attack, but I feel a lot better with that stuff just taken off of the board.
Brew, guide my sword.
Okay, so Kale will flip, but she doesn't have Overwhelm. You have to be at round start to pick up that Overwhelm. Throw Tryndamere out front. We'll get him on the way back. Hopefully that's going to be enough now. What do the Tellstones do? Okay. Blessing of Targon it is. Okay, so we're going to be putting 2 champions down next turn. We just need to make sure we don't play too many units. You can have a Pot of Pain. Sure. Here's a Fish a Whack for you, Tusk Speaker. Now we're ready. Ready to bring on the champs. We should just be open attacking, right? Answer, yes. Are we going to open attack? No. We're going to play Feel the Rush. So let's hope whatever he has isn't enough. So yeah, you should most certainly be open attacking here, much the same way that we saw some of these previous games go. Not doing it that way. Not doing it that way. We're bringing in the maximum thunder. All right, Jax comes down. Watch those animations. Watch that movie hit. Nice. Who comes in next? Sejuani. Aight. And then opponent surrenders. GG, my dude. All right. At that sweet 8-0 mark, we're getting the full amount of trophies. Let's see if we can't take this down as a 9 winner. Call it a day. Oof. Exciting stuff. Let's go, Jax. Let's go, Bard. Nobody believed in Bard, man, but he's doing it. He's putting in the work. That's good. Feels good, I tell you. Hey, just a little bit over an hour. I thought that having to play without the 2 buys, we were going to be here for like 3 hours, but you know, you guys are getting in and out of here quick. You're welcome. Glad I could provide you with less than 3 hours of entertainment. You're not watching an Avengers movie here today. Nobody wants to see that shit. So, glad to assist. So what do we got? Final opponent queuing up. Azir with Shadow Isles. Aight. Here come the Sand Soldiers. So that's an interesting space. Do we ever want to keep Spirits Unleashed? I know Spirits Unleashed doesn't kill the Sand Soldiers per se. It's a little bit challenging to do that. Let's get rid of that. I was trying to think of the units that would actually appear in this deck, and You can pick off some sand soldiers, but that just seems like a real fringe scenario to where that pays off. To where it does work out kind of nicely is if they have a draw that I guess you should think more in terms of playing against the opposing tokens deck, which is going to be using like Emperor's Diaz's and Blade Surges and the like. That is a space to where the Spirits Unleashed can be pretty useful if it's just going to be giving you the stats to block their units over and over again. But I don't think we should have to worry about that too much here. This is the kind of guy that scares me as soon as he comes down, though. It's typically only like combo decks using this guy. I assume it's going to be some kind of some kind of ephemeral strategy as to where he's useful here, but you gotta worry about that a little bit. But let's get Esmuth on board. Do we ever want to just pass? Just like trading out the Omen Hawk for the Islander isn't that big of a loss. It's like I wonder if he ever pauses to play cards until after our attack and we just get him. I don't think it's really going to be the case here. I'm gonna send in the old Omen Hawk. Oh, never mind. I take it back. you get to stay home, friend. Big stats on the Castaway, though. What do you got for us? I'm leaning towards the Pan of Pain here. We're going to need this Castaway to be doing some blocking. So he's ready for it now. Take that initial burst of 4. I don't think that's that big of a deal here, especially as we're getting built up with the harsh winds. This is like one of these spots to where if we had maybe like 4 or 5 units on the board and we were going to be at risk of overfilling, then sure, block, but I think we'll get a better usage out of it here in a little bit. Oof. Weaponsmith's Apprentice. I'm getting all of the forges built up, but we don't have any equipments to go along with it. Kind of a bummer. I think it still gets us some good usage as a 3/4 though. So if we want to attack onto this board, if we attack Esmuth into this Apprentice, make it a 3/4, have the Castaway be the 6/3, should just be bigger than everything opponent's presenting. The question will be, do we want to add like Orn's Forge or the Vortex or anything? And I think we'll probably play a post-combat Vortex. We miss out on a little bit of value going that way, but maybe that's miss out on without having the Forge as well. All right, Forge, you're coming in. It can just be a bit of a bummer with the Forge on the next turn to where it doesn't... Like, if we end up having to harsh winds, we can't Forge. Maybe we just won't be in that spot. I think it's okay.
More air, more coals.
All right, we're building up nicely. All right, clear them out. Good combat. Daddy Orn ready to party. Okay, I think we're good. Sandswept Tomb is a little annoying, but if he wants to hit us with the Charger, he's going to have to attack with the Soul Shepherd here. And then he'll have the Salt Spire next turn. I think that's okay. But he's gotta lose out on his dude to get the damage in here. I'm curious if we're not messing this up. Like, if we want to get our Orn to flip, we need that 8 damage hit. And we could have put some Forges onto the Piltover Castaway. We didn't play the game that way. We can make up for it here, though. Right? If we want to say time and dedication onto either the Castaway or the Sejuani and then boost it with Esmuth, I think that's something we definitely need to look to do this round. All right, bring in one of these. So now we'll have our 8 damage attack. When we bring in the Ornn, he's gonna be ready. Also have this copy onto the Pan of Pain, which has a few growths to it. I think we're safe. I think we're good, fam. I think we might unlock that 9-0. I don't want to call my shot too early, you know, but feels like we're in a really good spot here. See how much mana they spend. You know, we have the defensive card should we need it with the harsh winds, but Emperor's Divide. Okay.
Now this is what good looks like.
This is what good looks like, my dude. I think we're safe. He's got only 3 combos with the Neverglade Collector. I guess he'll have 4 once the Sandswept Tomb comes online, but all of our dudes are just too big to really care here. Okay.
Another nail for hammer.
There we go. Are y'all feeling good about this? I'm feeling good about this. I think we did it. Lifesteal, Fearsome, and Ephemeral. Alright, still not enough to kill Ornn. Alright. Time to bring the thunder. The Ram Zone coming through. Unfortunately, our Ornn doesn't... He doesn't get the overwhelm on himself. But that Ram, though. That Ram. And then should we need to, I don't think it's going to matter here. I think this one's probably just done. But we can stun a blocker in front of an overwhelm to punch in a bit more damage. So if he has like a Vengeance onto the Ram and puts the Collector in front of Sejuani or something, we have a little bit of option to stop his attack. But I don't think it's going to be relevant here. Having things like Ornn are just too big for that kind of play to matter. Here comes Spirit Fire. Ooh, we're too short. I thought we were going to have Exacties through the Spirit Fire. Okay. A little short, family. A little short. Bard's ready though. Let's deploy some chimes. How many chimes do you think we have in our deck? I'm gonna go with 5. Ooh, 13? Dang, that's a big number. I did the math on that one. That number's big.
Would you look at this place? I know you've been stealing my place, Captain. Hey, they patch up the hole.
All right, we just found the overwhelm equipment. I think we're good. This one should be done at this point. He can punch in an extra point of damage or 2. I mean, I guess if we're wanting to be safe, we can even just stop him from attacking with the Sandswept Tomb or something, but I don't think that's going to matter. The only thing you have to really worry about in this space is going to be a card like Atrocity, and I think that's probably just off the table at this point. We'll just make sure we have Harsh Winds mana behind, but it shouldn't matter. Okay. R.I.P. Sejuani. You fought hard. We appreciate the efforts you did today.
I will tell you of Ornn.
Just drop out the GG. Move on.
No need to thank me, it's no trouble.
No need to thank me, bro. It's no trouble. All right, what are we coming in for? A nice 61 piece coming in. I think that'll do it. I think that'll GG him. Bring that party to an end. And all right. Not a bad run. A nice little 9-0 on the day. And so not a bad set of battles. Again, I was curious how the second day of competition was going to be. I did consider that, as we played on the first day, that's probably when the more competitive scene is going to be out there and doing battle. And then I was pretty certain that as we went through the battles today, we were going to be playing against a fairly weaker cast. And no disrespect to the opponents that we did play today. I think that was a very fun set of games. We didn't run across anyone that had made their way into Masters yet. And so I think that's a fairly, reasonable assessment of what was going on here is the people that were really kind of invested in the success of this event probably just played on the first day. And then the day two, not to say there aren't going to be competitive players out here. You had an event on Saturday, so you had to play on Sunday or whatever. That's completely fine. But as you could kind of see from our sample here, I think we played against 6 or 7 different opponents, and none of them had made their way to Masters according to the tracker. And so you have to just kind of assume that on the whole, weaker players across the board. But, again, I think that does kind of open up an interesting space. The thing, again, I like to lead towards with this is if you're in that kind of band of players to where you're not trying to qualify for Worlds, you're not trying to hit the top of the leaderboard, but you're also pretty easily able to hit Masters. You're pretty easily able to clear through the reward path on this. I think that would be kind of an interesting space if there was a kind of secondary event for the losers, if you will, on the second days of these competition weekends. But nonetheless, I've been pretty happy with this across the board. And so, to talk about the deck, this was fine. Was this intended to be something ultra competitive? No, I did not have particularly high expectations out of Bard, but I think this Jax Ornn kind of shell with the forges and the equipments and all that is something that probably has a space within this format, as we don't intend on seeing Singleton anytime soon, but something that could crop up in the future. It's at least important to have some of these bits in our brains, and I think that the value you get out of all of this equipment generation and all the forges that go with it is something that's capable of going toe-to-toe against just a spell generation style deck. And then also having access to things like Feel the Rush give you some really powerful late game that can be tough for opposing decks to withstand. And so I could definitely see this having a spot in a meta. If it should just be with Jax, probably not. But maybe something like just include Demacia, because that's what you always need to do. And then include Aatrox as well, and you got yourself a deck, right? Just finding the best way to use Aatrox. But with that idea aside, I think the format has been fairly non-interactive and then fairly heavy on just generating value. And while you aren't directly generating value out of cards with like forges and equipment, the virtual card advantage you get out of forcing those 2-for-1s and 3-for-1s and shutting down your opponent's board because your board is bigger is something that has a bit of merit in this format. And so I wish we'd given Ornn a little bit of a chance before we completely locked in on Aatrox, because I think that there is probably something here that just didn't get explored out enough. And so, nonetheless, good set of games. I had fun. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so, I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. So this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.